Welcome to the Comin Up Charlotte podcast, produced by Deneka Thomas and amílcar Sanatan. This limited podcast series is all about real life in East Port of Spain. It is about the hustle, the people, the everyday work that keeps the city moving, the stories of the ones who make Charlotte Street, aka Chinatown, what it is. Today we're talking to Adriana, a hairdresser in D-Styles Mall, who is trying to embrace social media marketing, but finds herself falling back on the traditional marketing of word of mouth and gaining clientele based on recommendations from returning clients. This is her story.
Adriana Le Andre, one of the first things I observed walking into your studio and salon is the way that you focus on branding and the experience. You could talk a little bit about your investment on having this backdrop for social media photographs and as well as a complimentary alcoholic beverage. And for those who are hearing us, we actually have Angostura White Oak, we have punch on here as well. We have snacks, local snacks from Trinidad and Tobago. Speak about why you focus on this atmosphere.
I will be completely honest. I am not big on social media. Now, I do try to keep up. So that is one of the main reasons why it have the background and such. But in terms of content, I'm not a big content girly. So I just try.
Yeah.
That's the best way I could explain it. I just try, but it's kind of difficult for me.
Understood. But
Yeah.
you're invested on that game because
Yeah.
this is money, right? To do with
It
some of this
is.
here.
And funny enough, I bought the latest iPhone to take content, and I could count how much time since I bought the phone. 16 Pro Max. I could like literally count how much times I take a reel with it since I bought it. Like it's yeah. I feel like it's pointless. But I just try to keep up, but I honestly can't.
I'm quite interested in the idea of keeping up. I get the sense that among entrepreneurs involved with hair or nail techs and design, that content creation is very important to your economic livelihood. Could speak about that?
It is, in a sense. And funny enough, I was having this conversation with my trainer in the gym 2 days ago. I personally don't rely on social media. Most, I could say like 75 to 80% of my clients is word of mouth. So while I do get persons who probably see me on TikTok or on Instagram, I'm mainly word of mouth. And I don't know if you noticed, but I don't know if you've been to the other malls. This mall is one of the more dead malls on Charlotte Street. Actually, Islands and Aliyah is more busy. So I would say up here, you would need a clientele, and I really had a problem. And again, word of mouth.
Yeah.
So as I say, I'm not like a big content person. I just post like probably once a week, twice a week for the most. And I don't know if I just old school, but I comfortable with it.
I do see a lot of generational differences among the
Yeah.
entrepreneurs here.
I mean, I'm not old,
Nah, man, you young in
but
the game.
I've been doing hair since 2014. That's over 10 years. So I accustomed. I don't have to have the prettiest backdrop and the Instagram
But you do.
and right, the Instagram aesthetics and all of that. Word of mouth is fine for me.
Yeah.
I don't hurt up my head at all.
I'm quite interested on like your philosophy. You like a lot of appointments or you prefer walk-ins?
Strictly appointments.
Oh, that's interesting. A lot of people seem to have concerns about appointments, thinking that it's very difficult to manage. Tell me about having a business model where you do strictly appointments. What does allow you to do in your business?
Okay, before okay, so on the whole, appointments better for me because I could set my days and my weeks properly. So I know I have this person for X, Y, and Z time. I could probably run away, run my personal errands, probably get products and do whatever. I find with walk-ins, you're kind of stuck here. And I don't want to live here. And to get into my personal business a little bit, I have a bad fasciitis in my lower back. So recently I started therapy. So now that I actually focusing on gym and therapy and getting back my personal life, appointments is way better. And I don't want to say that I'm expensive, but I am kind of on the pricier side. So sometimes when I get a walk in, they open the door, they'll be like, hi, how much to do X, Y, and Z? You tell them the price and they'll go. On my social media, it have prices, even on my WhatsApp, prices, services, everything. In addition to that, I see a lot of people using the booking site. I personally don't like it. I have an appointment book. You WhatsApp me, I speak to you directly, and that way I'll be able to book appointments more better. Because sometimes, okay, I have somebody to do a wig, then the next person is a ponytail. You might say that your hair natural, but when you come, oh, you might say hair relaxed, but when you come, you have a lot of new growth. So I might take a longer time. So me talking to you directly instead of you going on the booking site where certain things limited and you can't state certain things for sure, I find it more better. That is just me sticking to the old school way. Talk to me directly instead of the booking site. I don't like booking sites at all. Tried it, don't like it. So yeah.
At the moment, you are combing out a wig. You could describe this process, what you're doing here.
Okay, for lace wigs, before the actual install, you have to bring the wig to be prepped. Now, this is a colored hair. This don't need any bleaching of the knots. All you have to do, well, I like to wash hair because they do come with sometimes a tin film, a dirt or whatever product, however they store it in the factory. So I like to wash hair and again you pluck it before the install. With black hair, okay, so this is one that is used. You would notice the roots of it is bleached to give it a scalp like. Now again, is this cloth, it will not, no matter what you do, it will not give you like real scalp. It's just an illusion because people like to say what lace, that lace with a state. It's just an illusion, right? Let me just put that out there because people does be disappointed. So yeah. But before the actual install, you have to get it the knots either tinted or bleached and plucked before your appointment.
Adriana, I find this interesting. I seen you as a younger hairstylist here in this mall in Charlotte Street. You are wearing a natural dreadlocks hairstyle. And culturally, there's a big movement around the world around natural hair. You spoke to new growth that could be happening. And I see people have choice where they can accessorize their hair and so on. Do you see yourself as part of those cultural debates, or you just, this is a business and you work with people and you have your private views? Yeah.
Okay, again, so fun fact, this is not all my hair.
Oh, okay, respect, man.
I, I have been locked for the past 5 years since late 2019. And my reason for locking my hair is time. I hardly have time to comb my own hair. And the persons that I have patronized their establishments have literally messed me up. They don't do my hair good at all. And at the time, I was like, this is it. And you see the state how my hair is. This is how my hair is most of the time. I hardly have time to comb my hair unless it's somewhere to go. And a lot of persons, when they crack the door, they just be like, I'm looking for Adrian. And I'm like, Adrian. And they just be like, you is the person? Yes. I have locks, but I do wigs. I didn't have locks all the time.
Okay.
So older clients would notice, but the newer ones just be kind of surprised.
But you said something quite interesting, which is a bit different from what I've heard. For many years, people say they relax and straighten their hair because of time. You said you locked your hair as a kind of time management strategy. That seems to be a change in the culture.
I strongly believe locks is not to be styled all the time. So I just had to beat my face and go like this. Paint in a messy bun and go. I could show you pictures where I went out and my hair wasn't combed and I was cool like that. All I worry about is my makeup. So it's easier for me and I don't think I would get rid of my locks no time soon.
East Port of Spain is more than street stalls and storefronts. It is a living archive of survival and creativity. Every stall, every vendor, every small business is a part of that story. This is Coming Up Charlotte, and now we're back to the episode.
What inspired you to get into entrepreneurship?
To be very honest, it was never a goal. I always liked doing hair because of my upbringing. So when I was in school, I always used to comb hair, etc., etc. And then when I left, I had jobs, and hair was a kind of like a side hustle. Then I had a little personal experience in 2013, and I left my job because I worked ministry for a little bit, and I left, and I was just studying what I could do whatever. And my girlfriend was like, "You just do here, why just do come in town," and that is how it started. And honestly, when I started, I had my personal clients from years who I would do on and off, but coming into Port of Spain, most of them didn't follow me, and there were days where I literally had one person for the week. But what I see a lot of persons doing is the jumping in to business and the thinking that, okay, whatever money you make is yours. And it isn't. My main thing when I started was, okay, I don't know how long I'm going to do this, but I know that 5-10 years down the road, I want to reap the benefits, right? So when I started, my main focus were buying back products, paying my rent. I could eat, I could do whatever after, right? And that's how I started. Initially, I never used to do wigs. I used to do braids, but not, it was mostly box braids only, no was no none like that. And slowly but surely, I add in services because sometimes you'll meet persons and, okay, you're good doing hair by this one hairdresser, you rather stick to this person, you don't go by nobody else to try nothing. So you know how to add services. So, because they don't want to go. And that is how I started doing locks because as I said, I did my locks myself. So I make locks. I do wigs now. Well, I retired doing braids because I have problems with my hand. Again, it's over 10 years of doing hair. So you have to have the mindset that, hey, this is what I want, and you have to literally nurture it like it is your child.
But Adriana, you left the security of a public service job. A lot of people have side hustles when they have a salary job. What made you shift from side hustle to self-employed? That's a big leap of faith.
And again, it wasn't, how to say it, boy? I think at that time, that period in my life, because I had a real tough upbringing, side notes. So at that time, it wasn't necessarily about, being secure. Yes, I know I wanted something secure for however long, but it was like, whatever happen. I just thinking about the now mainly. And as it come, I will deal with whatever. And I would not lie. There were times where I was like, why am I doing this? Makes no sense. But I just go back to working for people. But it's something you had to like. And it's not necessarily being self-employed or working for people, because you could be working for people and still don't like it. You could be self-employed and still don't like it. And again, it had plenty of times where I was like, I can't deal with this, dealing with people, dealing with certain things. But when it all boils down to it, you have to like what you do. If you don't like it, it won't make no sense. You won't reap any benefits. And faith is a major thing also. You had to have faith. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Which community are you originally from?
Originally, I grew up in Silots, but I live over.
So it's quite interesting. Many of the entrepreneurs we have met are from East Port of Spain, because you said something that I like. You're coming into town. What does Port of Spain mean to you as a businesswoman?
Back then, I would say that it is where everything is. It's easy to get it accessible. You're getting deals, whatnot. Now, to be honest with you, I won't move out of Port of Spain. Hi, good day. Come in. No, come in. You can sit down. I won't move out of Port of Spain because again it's accessible for my clients, but it isn't as safe as before because I have a client that literally got robbed late Christmas and she isn't really familiar with Port of Spain. So yeah, it's accessible and whatnot, but on the flip side, it have a real lot of cons. I don't want to get into all the cons, but it kind of have a lot of cons.
Adriana, I see that you have a client here, so I will begin to
Yeah.
wrap things up. Sorry about
problem.
that. I hope it's not inconvenience. One of the questions that I have for you is about the futures. What do you see in the future of this vision for your studio and your business?
To be honest, I do not see myself growing old doing hair. I am currently 31 and by 45 for the latest, I want to be done. Because, and this is something that I learned from actually a lady who made me started to do wigs. You don't get a lot of time as a self-employed stylist, and not just a hairstylist, but in the service industry, it takes you away from family. It takes you from events and certain milestones. And I don't have any kids. I don't plan on making any kids. But at the same time, it have a lot of stuff that I honestly missed out on. And to draw back my point earlier, that's why I stick to appointments now for the past 5+ years because it's easier for me to plan my life instead of having to wait here a whole day on walk-ins. So that's just my take on it.
And as an entrepreneur from Sealots and Mover, do you see yourself representing something from the community as a businesswoman in town?
Yes and no. Yes and no, in the sense where you don't really forget where you come from because again, experiences do shape you, right? But at the same time, people tend to have this mentality that because you come from somewhere, you had to kind of like stay in a bowl and you had to attach yourself to certain things. And I think as persons, your goal is to always evolve and to outgrow certain things. So, I mean, I wouldn't be ashamed of where I come from, but in terms of certain behaviors and certain mannerisms and lifestyle choices, no. And I was never that type of person to begin with, but again, with age bring reason, and no.
Adriana, thank you so much for the opportunity to share your insights and learn about your vision and futures as an entrepreneur, representing the sport of Spain, and of course, making Charlotte Street feel alive.
No problem. You're welcome.
Thanks for joining us on Comin Up Charlotte. This podcast is part of a wider project that includes poetry, visual art, and a final community event, all shaped by the stories we've gathered here in East Port of Spain. To learn more, follow along, share an episode, or start a conversation of your own. Thank you again for listening.